have changed running sponsors, changed where I live, and honestly, I'm just in a much better spot physically, emotionally, and mentally just going into it this year. So I think that there's a lot that you can draw from that.
Welcome back to Flagstaff Bound, a special Cocodona 250 series brought to you by Distance to Empty Podcast and Aravaipa Running. I am Kevin Goldberg, host of the Distance to Empty Podcast, where we dive deep into 200-plus mile races just like Cocodona 250. As always, I'm joined by my everyone's favorite co-host and my favorite co-host, Peter Noyes. Today we welcome a well-known name in the ultra scene, someone who's done everything from FKTs to multi-day races. He was on the starting line back in 2021 for the very first Cocodona 250, and now, 4 years later, he's heading back with more experience, a different outlook, and a lot to be excited about. Coree Woltering, welcome to the show.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. Yeah, super pumped to be headed back.
Yeah, we're excited to see you there. So let's chat about that Cocodona Year 1, 2021. What do you remember most about that experience? And what's kind of stuck with you since then as when you think Cocodona, what do you think?
Yeah, so the first year of Cocodona, I actually had set the Pinhoti Trail FKT, which is 349 miles and about 50,000 feet of gain, I guess 4 weeks before Cocodona. So I thought that I could recover from that and then come back and try to just crush Cocodona. And I just remembered going up that first major climb and being absolutely crushed. And I was laying on a rock, just trying to get some shade from a cactus as everybody was passing me. And they're just like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" I'm like, "No, I'm not okay." But that is what I remember. So I ended up dropping at mile 37 the first year. And I've just wanted to come back since.
So in that time frame too, you also made some pretty big life changes, I believe. So in what sense was Cocodona a turning point for you?
Yeah, Cocodona for me was, I mean, honestly, it was the beginning of just a lot of changes that were going to be happening in my life. At that point, I think I enjoyed running a lot, but I also just loved partying at that time. And so definitely wasn't approaching Cocodona from, probably the best physical health, but even maybe mental health a little bit. And so since then, it's like Cocodona will be 3.5 years sober for me. I have changed running sponsors, changed where I live. And honestly, I'm just in a much better spot physically, emotionally, and mentally just going into it this year. So I think that there's a lot that you can draw from that.
Well, that's awesome. Congratulations on 3.5 years. I have a lot of people who have celebrated similar milestones in my life, and it's pretty awesome. So very cool. The course itself, at Cocodona 250 is obviously brutal. You experience probably the hardest 37 miles of it, but there are other punches along the way. Are you adjusting your actual strategy this time around, building off of what you learned in 2021? Obviously, mindset is different, and there's a lot of different external factors. But what about your physical prep and actual logistics of it all?
Yeah. Back in 2021, I was there. I wanted to try to win it, which was just like, here I am. This is what I'm going to do. This year, honestly, I'm going in with the mindset of whatever happens, happens. I can deal with it. I've actually just ran Southern States 200 this past weekend and signed up for it literally 90 minutes before the race started. So went into it totally unprepared, didn't have everything I needed, and just we made it work throughout the whole 3 days, whatever it was. And so going into Cocodona, I have a better plan, but at the same time, I don't feel like there's this pressure that I have to try to win it or that I have to be on the podium. And it's just go out, have fun, and do what I know how to do. And if that ends up, somewhere in the top 10, top 5, or even pushing for a podium spot, then that's really cool. But if not, it doesn't change my life.
So you've been at this sport for a good amount of time. So over the years, how would you say that your relationship with ultra running has changed?
Yeah, this is year 11 for me, I guess, in the sport, and I've been getting paid for 8 of them. And so it's one of those things where at times I felt I had to win everything, or I had to be, focused on the most competitive things, the short things, the fast things. And now, thanks to like Janji and Merrill, I honestly feel like I can just explore the limits of what my body can do without feeling this pressure of you have to be on the podium at, say Black Canyon or at Western States. But it allows us to go out and do these things like Southern States 200. It allows us to focus on something like Cocodona, which, historically people may have said 200s aren't necessarily the most competitive things. But when you get on that start line, I mean, there are amazing athletes that are out there. And you could argue that, this year's Cocodona might be one of the most competitive 200s ever. And so for me, it's honestly, I still feel like I have a ton left to give. And I'm just trying to figure out what inspires me to get out of the door every day to keep on pushing.
I love that answer. I think it's really cool, the attention and the credit that 200s are being given. They seem to be really being put on the map, not only due to the competitiveness, but the sponsor support and just sort of the overall coverage and acceptance of the ultra running community, which has been really cool to see. Obviously beneficial for people like us who started a podcast that's completely dedicated to 200 milers. You mentioned Janji, which they sponsor Cocodona, they sponsor you, they sponsor our podcast. Pretty cool synergy there. What is your favorite piece of Janji Gear that you'll be carrying with you from start to finish, more or less?
Yeah, my favorite piece of Janji Gear, definitely the half tights. I love them. They have seven pockets on them. So, I mean, those pockets can be crucial for just taking some of the weight off of your upper body and kind of putting it on your lower body, whether it's carrying, two 500 milliliter flasks, a phone, or just stashing gloves, a hat, or anything like that in those pockets. It's absolutely incredible just how they can carry everything, but yet they're not sliding down or falling down.
So Cocodona 2021 was an inaugural race, and now we're coming up on year 5 of it. So I have to imagine that it's kind of evolved over that time and changed. So, in your opinion, how has the vibe of Cocodona evolved? Since that first year to now, especially being possibly the most competitive race it's ever been.
Yeah, I think the first year was this big kind of dream project of Jamil and this mystery of what was going to happen. And, everyone was just kind of like, I guess we're all going to go for this big adventure and just see what it is. And now, it's getting more sponsor attention. It's getting, the live stream is amazing. I mean, 5 days of the live stream. My mom watches every year. Like, she watched year 1. Even when I dropped, she still watched it. And she just kept asking me, like, how's Maggie doing? How's Maggie doing? And so, it's really cool to see that the live stream is reaching just such a wide audience of people that maybe had no idea that 200s even existed. And it's just fun to, the athletes that focus on that are now getting the attention that they deserve because of things like this live stream. And yeah, I don't know. It's grown into this thing that every year in May, what people are doing. It's like people are making that trip to Arizona and they're either running, crewing, or pacing Cocodona.
Yeah, I think it's so cool what the live stream has done for the sport, and in particular for this race. I'm known for being in the live stream myself while racing every year, which is a questionable decision, but something that helps keep me going and has brought a lot of joy to the experience for me. So it really is wild what Aravaipa has done with this race coverage, and it seems to level up each year, which is really cool to see. So, Corey, going back this year in 2025, what section of the course are you most looking forward to? Is it revisiting that first 37, or is it something beyond there that you've yet to see that you're really excited about?
Yeah, I think I'm most excited for. I mean, I want to say I'm most excited for the finish, but honestly, it's just that first 37 and knowing that, if you can get through that, then the rest of the race, I don't want to say is easier, but like that is the hardest section of the race. And so just being patient, just being smart, and trying to take in the experience rather than be like, okay, I have to be out front pushing from this point. So I think I'm excited for that.
And then what about the flip side of that? Is there a section of the course that you're not looking forward to?
It's honestly that first 37, and it's wild because in like in southern states 200, I've also done Tarawera this year, and at mile like 37 to 40 in both of those races, I've just hit really low points. And I mean, that's really early to be hitting a low point in 100 or even a 200, but that's where most of my low points have happened. And in the past, that's even where most of my drops have happened in 50, 100K or 100 miles. So it's like, okay, I'm excited for that, but I also know that I just need to get through that. And then after that, it's things normally turn around.
I think you're not alone out there at Cocodona, and it's sort of a beautiful and terrible thing that so many people experience their first low so early in this race of 250 miles, and it starts out so hard, typically so hot, with low availability of fluids, and it's just like it's tough to get a big low like within the first 15% of a 250-mile race. So
Absolutely. But it's like, if you just keep moving, and that's what
yeah,
you have to tell yourself, it's like, just keep moving.
yeah.
If you can get through that, then you can make it to the finish.
Absolutely, and who knows? Maybe we'll get lucky, and it'll be like last year with nice, cool day one. I doubt it, but we can hope. Corey, what shoes are you going to start the race in this year?
Yeah, so I'm also sponsored by Merrill, and Merrill has a new shoe coming out right around the start of Cocodona. It's called the Adapt, and I'm actually going to run the whole race in one pair. So super excited about that. It's a super solid shoe. It's cushioned. It has great traction, and it's meant to be our long trail racing shoe. And so, I mean, what better way to show what the shoe can do than to run a 250-mile race in one pair?
What's the longest you've run in a single pair of shoes before?
The longest I've gone would be, I guess, at Southern States. I went the first like 120 miles or so in that pair, and then I switched out to a different pair for like 12 miles, then went back to the same pair. And honestly, I could have run the whole race in the same pair.
Yeah, that was similar to my last year's Cocodona. What did I do? I started in the Ultra Venture. I forget what I switched out to for like 25 miles, and then I went back to that same pair. So similar. Like I probably should have and could have just kept them on. It's almost like don't fix what's not broken if you don't have
Yep,
to.
yep,
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
I did Cocodona in a single pair of shoes as well. I
Nice,
got one blister at mile 220, but that was it. So it's
nice.
totally doable. And
Love it.
then,
Love to hear that.
so what is one outcome of Cocodona 250 that's not tied to results or placement or time that would make you proud of yourself?
Yeah, you know, I guess the biggest thing is just having fun. Like, I want this to be a memorable experience for my crew, my pacers, and me. It's like, when else do you get to go on wild adventures like this and you're literally running across a state? And so, as long as we're having fun, we all get along, like, that's what's most important to me. I mean, placing is great, being in the top 10 is wonderful, but having these experiences with people that care about you and that you care about, like, that's the important stuff.
as far as crew goes, you mentioned having your crew out there. Is anyone returning from that team in 2021? Do you have a big crew, small crew, pacers the whole way?
Yep. So I'll have essentially the same crew as 2021. But it's funny because, I mean, I saw them at mile 37 or whatever, and that's when I dropped. And so it's not like they really got to do much. And so it will be the same thing. And then I'll have pacers the whole way, using friends from Flagstaff that I trained for Black Canyon with back in like 2019 or in 2020, I guess that was. So just super excited to see them and hang out with them for a few days.
Awesome. Love it. All right. Last question we have for you, Corey. We asked our friends over at ChatGPT how many steps you would take from Black Canyon City up to Flagstaff along the Cocodona 250 course, and we want to see how close you can get with your guess.
No, I have no idea.
We've had some the answers have ranged. We have like a 6 million spread for the answers.
That's I honestly don't even know what mile Black Canyon City is because I've never made it that far in the race.
Well, that's the start. So start to finish.
Perfect. Okay, good. So then, yeah, that's how much research I've done right now. So we'll say, 2 million. I don't know.
It's going to be a lot easier than 2 million. According to ChatGPT, it's about 350,000 to 500,000 steps.
Oh, perfect. Much easier.
So, walk in the park.
Deal.
Yeah,
Yep.
Totally easy. Awesome. Corey, thank you so much for joining us. We can't wait to see you out there in Arizona. Excited to see you back at this race. Remember, Cocodona 250 kicks off Monday, May 5th, 5 a.m. Pacific time. As we talked about in this episode, the live stream is a must watch. It's going to be really fun. Aravaipa brings coverage around the clock, live on the Mountain Outpost YouTube channel. There'll be more coverage, behind the scenes footage, and additional content on the Cocodona 250 social media channels. If you're enjoying Flagstaff Bound, this series, check us out at Distance to Empty Podcast. Peter and I are releasing episodes every week, all about 200 plus mile races. We cover them all. We have athletes on, sports scientists, race directors, dietitians, etc., talking specifically about 200 mile races. Corey, where can people follow your 2025 Cocodona 250?
Yeah, just follow at Coree Woltering on Instagram, and my crew will be updating that.
Awesome. Corey, thanks again. We'll see you out there.
Perfect. Thank you.